This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and MM The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like all the shows.
All right, good morning and welcome to another edition of the External Bum Show. We're here live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X platform, and also we are on the Detroit Lions podcast network as well, the Kneecap Biting with Smoke and Jeremy B, and we're also on the South Florida Tribune network as well, and a Huddle Sports Network on Roku. I want to thank all of those folks for letting us simulcast on there today as well. And it is the last show of 2024 for the External Bum Show, and it's great to be here today. My panel with me today, my co-hosts are Scott Morganroth from the South Florida Tribune and Smoke and Jeremy B from the Kneecap Lions, and also does some works with the South Florida Tribune as well. All right, guys, let's get started with our opening segment here, our opening thing. Scott, tell us a little bit about yourself, Motor City Mad Mouth here. Scott Morganroth, guys, a bunch of shows on the South Florida Tribune. Scott, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning from Orlando, Florida, where the Pop-Tarts Bowl, Miami Hurricanes, Iowa State Cyclones, Battle of Storms in their own different way. Right here, looking forward to the game. I'll be at the stadium about 1:30, so it'll be a pretty good game to watch. Cam Ward out there. There'll be a lot of NFL scouts as well. Just let people know how they can reach us. They go to our website, www.southfloridatribune.com. Our YouTube is South Florida Tribune. Please subscribe to that. And Ralph will tell you that I have a book later on, Lessons from the Microphone. And more importantly, are on Twitter /X at Tribune South. So looking forward to covering a good game today, and had a chance to sit in with the coaches' press conference, and it was pretty enlightening, to say the least. Hopefully we'll see these two teams play more often, as they should. They're two good quality programs for sure. So it'll be a pretty interesting game here over at Camping World Stadium. You know, they have another stadium over University of Central Florida, but this stadium has housed a lot of bowl games, and the Florida Citrus Bowl Association is really doing a good job with their hospitality to try to take care of us this week.
All right, good. It says here, Bloss22 says, good morning, everybody. Josh says, welcome, Bill, to the chat. And welcome, Josh and Bloss22 to the chat as well. South Florida Tribune also says, good morning. And thank you very much, South Florida Tribune Network. Candy Ebling, I want to thank her as well for the work that she does with this program, getting Scott on the air and getting everything put together so we can simulcast on the South Florida Tribune Network. Also, lots of good bums in the chat. Yes, absolutely. Sometimes that can be the case. And Paul, thank you for being part of it. Ralph, are you okay after the shooting? Yes, I am, Paul. Thank you so much for asking. I appreciate your concern and prayers. Yes, I am okay. My family did survive the shooting we had in our building yesterday at 6 o'clock in the morning. Pittsburgh police were trying to execute a warrant for a guy who had a gun in the building. He was a felon. He wasn't supposed to have the gun. And they were trying to execute the warrant. He shot at the police. They had to bring in the SWAT team. They tried to negotiate with him with no success. So he ended up shooting at the SWAT team, so SWAT shot back. And unfortunately for the family, he ended up, wherever he's going. But he's at the morgue right now. And, sorry to hear about that. I want to say prayers to the family of that person as well. But anyway, let's move on here today. We're for the External Bum Show. It's always great to be here. Jeremy Ballrich, thank you for being part of the show this morning. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how's everything with you?
Well, the holidays are rough. I'm here. I write for the South Florida Tribune. I also do my own podcast on the Kneecap Fighting Network. And that goes live into the same Roku network that you go live into. I also do shows for the South Florida Tribune as well.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy. And Leo Haggerty from Amped Up Sports. Welcome, Leo. How are you? It's great to have you on the show as always. How's everything with Amped Up Sports and Tampa and all that stuff down there? Peter Blake and the gang. How's everything going?
You're muted.
You're muted, Leo. Can't hear you. Turn up your volume.
Say what, Ralph? Say what?
There you go. There you go. How's everything with you down there with Amped Up Sports and everything?
A little bit belated Christmas, but everything's going fine down here with the Conquest Bowl. Michigan and Alabama both arrived on the 26th. They got practice today. Tomorrow's the Beach Bash with the Battle of the Bands, as well as the Gridiron Gala. And the coaches' conference will be Monday, and then noon on Tuesday, we'll kick it off between the Wolverines and the Crimson Tide. Very excited about that. South Florida plays this afternoon against Weber International, the men. The women will come back in New Year's Day. They'll open conference play. Well, it'll be their second game in conference. It's the first home game. And the Lightning have the Rangers tonight and the Canadians tomorrow, back-to-back here in Amalie Arena. That's what's going on in Tampa, brothers.
All right, Leo. Thank you. Now we're going to get started with our opening segment, which is brought to you in part by Scott Morganroth's book, The Lessons from the Microphone. It says, tuning into the enduring wisdom of visionary leaders. Go get it at Barnes & Noble or on Amazon and through his publisher as well. Thank you, Scott, for the great book. It is a great book to read. Please go out and get it. Help Scott Morganroth. He's also getting ready at the beginning of the year to get started on his second book. So it's going to be great to see Scott's second book coming out. All right, we're going to get started with our bum segment today. And let's start with you, Leo. First, your bum for today.
Dear God, I could pick a plethora of bums. The SEC for thinking they were going to get 5 or 6 teams in the playoffs and didn't deserve it. The Chicago Bears for actually thinking they could draft a quarterback, and they've been wrong 3 times now.
Hey, don't go through them all, otherwise you're going to probably hit the one I'm going to hit. Just pick one.
Well, I wanted to do that because, Scott, I wanted to ask you. My bum is the NCAA after what Jimmy Larinaga said. Was Jimmy Larinaga going to be part of your bum, by the way?
No.
Okay, good. The NCAA, Jimmy Larinaga, a good friend of mine who I've known for the past 45 years, decided it was time to hang it up down at Miami. And he made a comment that the NCAA really needs to start looking at. They go to the Final Four in 2023.
Right.
The week later, 8 of his guys are in the portal. They're the Final Four. And he brought all of them in and said, guys, are you unhappy here? He said, no, coach, we're just going to the portal to see how much money we can make.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And that's terrible. The NCAA, let's start to, and everybody says, well, they don't want to make any rules because they don't want to end up in court. You're going to make $2 billion on this tournament. How about showing a pair and just saying, you want to sue me? Let's go to court. Because they've got to do 2 things. They got to back up the national signing date for football back to February. They also got to shut the portal down until the last football game. They don't allow coaching movement till then. Same thing with the players. Just say, hey, January 21st, you get in the portal. No earlier. That's simple. NCAA, you're my bum, but problem is you may be my perpetual bum.
Well, for that matter, I might as well just tell you right now that you're right, because what happened to Marshall? They're ready to go to a bowl game, and all of a sudden they have enough players. Seriously, really?
And you know what, guys? Real quick, remember I talked about months ago how the NCAA should insure these players to make sure they play? Did you see what Colorado did? They insured Sador and Hunter for insurance so they could play. NCAA, wake up, smell the coffee, spend a little money so these games are not just competitive, but so everybody can play.
All right. We have some comments here in the comment section real quick. Let's get to Vox 18. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you. Appreciate your comments as well. I want to thank everybody for the kind words. I am okay. I did not get shot. So, involving my apartment building. So, okay, there we are there. And then good to see you all. Same with you, Vlogs 18. Thank you. And I disagree with you. The NCAA is a business and players and these to make money. And let's see here. I'm having issues with my eyes this morning. Sorry. Better their future. They can turn to, or they can do what they want. This is America. All right. Well,
guess what? You got to play by the rules. And Jimmy Larinaga put it out there. Let's stop calling this amateurism. It's professionalism. We need to pay these guys. You're making off of this. It's time to pay the players. It's time to pay every athlete. You've got the money, NCAA. Stop hoarding it. Because
I don't mind paying them. I don't mind anything, but there needs to be some structure. I said that last week. There needs to be a lot of structure.
You're right. You have to have regulation about when you do certain things. This is what you have to do. Right now, this is a train wreck that's going 9 million directions. Why do you think I don't take a train anywhere? I don't think things in a derail. The NCAA is a big first-class derailing situation, and it has been for a while. It's just the problem that you have is now it's starting to come to a head here is what it's really come down to, where you have so many players that aren't playing in the bowl games for all the wrong reasons. I get it if you're trying to avoid an injury like you have many years ago where guys saw their career. That's different. But now you got guys moving to schools before their commitment is up for the year. And that's where it's spiraled out of control. Poor Jeremy is so patient right now, probably waiting to get some of this stuff that we're blowing out of here. But he's smart enough. He can think on his feet. He's learned from the best.
All right. Thank you for letting me know that, Will Vogel, that you're part of the program. I was not aware that that was your handle, but thank you. All right. And then also we have Josh with his comments.
Let me backtrack off of Joshua Torre here a little bit. Okay. My second bum is Eric Beneshow. Well, I've been given time off to relax. So get a life, Joshua Torre. He hasn't been on a show for a while. We haven't had any baseball for a while, but we will. So if you're going to give him, you're going to call Eric Katz a bum, Josh. I'm going to say you're a bum too, and I haven't even got to mine yet.
All right, Jeremy, go ahead with your bum for this morning.
Well, Leo almost took it. My bum is actually Roger Goodell for putting the schedule that goes on Thursday night football. Because outside of 2 games all season, it's been an absolute shit show. This is ridiculous. 9 total points Thursday night. Al Michael was ready to pull out his hair and retire again. That's how bad the scoring was. 13 punts, 6 by the Seahawks and 7 by the Chicago Bears. But it's not all Caleb Williams' fault. He does have a 64% completion percentage. He has thrown over 3,000 yards as a rookie for the first time in Chicago Bears history. Hallelujah. They might have found a quarterback. They just need to find a few things, and they might get close. A new owner, a new president, a new GM, a new coach, new coordinators, new O-line, a new stadium, some new uniforms. The Lions fall off, the Vikings fall off, and the Packers leave the division, and the Bears might actually win one again.
Good comeback, Joshua Dorr. You haven't seen him in a little while, then say you haven't seen him in a little while. You don't go out there and say he's a bum. If you miss the guy, you miss the guy. That's a different conversation. But, Joshua, sometimes your words to me remind me of cats. Sometimes the few words you say just don't make a lot of sense. I like Bucky and Boots' vocabulary than I like yours some of the time.
All right. I want to thank Joe also for being part of the program as well. Thank you, Joe. And there we are.
Chime in on this one guy who just talked about what's to keep a Division III team from loading up and beating everybody. Obviously, you have no idea about football. Division III, they don't have money. So they're not going to pay anybody. Plus, that's not their major concern. That's an academic institution that plays football. Division I, it's a football institution that has classes. Let's be real.
Okay.
All right, Scott Morganroth, you're bum for today.
Oh, I've been really chomping at the bit for this one. How about the Sacramento Queens? And I said the Sacramento Queens, or AKA the Sacramento Kings, but the Sacramento Kings or Queens via Shaquille O'Neal. How do you fire Mike Brown the way you did? Really? I cannot believe it. Okay, albeit the team has lost 5 in a row. I get that. All he did was snap a 16-year playoff drought, leaves her with a winning record, but yet you let him run a full practice. You let him talk to us guys in the media, although I wasn't there. I'm here in Orlando. Okay. And then 15 minutes before he's supposed to play the Lakers, you're fired. Seriously? Oh, my God. I can't believe that. I mean, there's ways to get fired, but the Sacramento Kings have made they're one of the worst franchises in pro sports history. They really are. There's ways of doing things, but they've mastered the art of not doing things the right way. Mike Brown's a good coach. He really is. To break that drought in Sacramento, and let me tell you, I've been to Sacramento and I've seen a couple of games at their past stadiums. Those are good fans there, and they're backing Mike Brown, because of the way things were handled. He's a good coach. I think they're a little premature on the firing, but every team has a right to go ahead and fire a guy when they feel the need to do it. But there's class and then there's the other, and you just don't do it that way. I can't stomach that. But when I heard that last night, I knew you guys were going to. Number one, Leo doesn't have NBA, in Tampa, so I wasn't worried about that. Jeremy likes to talk a lot of football, although he's become more versatile. But I didn't think Jeremy would go to the extreme to go to Sacramento and to talk about Mike Brown. But the reality is the Sacramento Queens blew it. They really, really did. That was just bad. Mike Brown will land pretty quick. And if you can win in Sacramento, you can win anywhere.
All right. My bums today are both head coaches for Pittsburgh, one for the Mike Tomlin for the Steelers and Pat Narduzzi for Pitt. Some of the coaching decisions that both of these coaches have made, and they have tenure, 18 years for Mike Tomlin, 10 years for Pat Narduzzi, and you make boneheaded, stupid decisions in the last 2 days. And then on top of that, the Steelers have a 3-game losing streak. Players are pointing a finger at each other, saying somebody's not doing their job and things like that. It's getting out of control. Steelers need to win against Cincinnati coming up on January 5. If they don't, I think this season's over, even if they go into a one playoff game. I think the season's pretty much over for them. Pitt Panthers, on the other hand, Pat Narduzzi made it a 6-game losing streak by losing this bowl game. It shouldn't have went into 6 overtimes. He had an opportunity to score again and decided to let his defense try to stop Toledo, which they couldn't do to begin with. And then number 2 for Toledo, Van Noy or Vander Waas or whatever his name was there, kept on catching the ball everywhere. Pitt couldn't defend him, and it was just a bad game that shouldn't have went into 6 overtimes. Pitt could have had that game where they needed to do, and they made some bad coaching decisions. But I will give Pitt credit for one thing. They did fight in this game, and they had a freshman quarterback that we can look at for next year as well. But my 2 bums are both coaches, Pat Narduzzi and Mike Tomlin. All right, and that's my bums for today. Brought to you in part by Scott Morganroth's book, the bum segment called Lessons from the Microphone, Enduring Wisdom and Visionary Leaders. Please get it at Barnes & Noble or on Amazon or in Scott's publisher as well. Also, we are in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios, 724-2010-500. We're in 808 Studios up here in the Allentown section of the city of Pittsburgh. If we don't get shot, and we're safe up here, but that's where we are here. And 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, snow melt. They offer UV lighting and a whole lot more. Give them a call today. Tell them Ralph Williams sent you. All right, our next segment is brought to you in part by Robin Campbell Insurance, Farmers, Bristol West Insurance, 366-3399. Call Robin today for some great insurance, for all your insurance needs. All right, call Robin today. All right, let's get back to the comment section before we start our next segment here. We have plenty of them, so let's get started here. All right, it says, can I make myself a bum? Well, we'll take that off of there. All right, let's see what we got from Joe. Please let L. Michaels retire. Yes, absolutely. I believe that could be the case. All right, I've got to go back to work. God bless you all. Thank you very much, Will Vogel. Will, have yourself a Happy New Year. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. And everyone else as well that's watching today and also in our comment section. Detroit Grit, nice shirt there, Smokey. And also we have, let's see what else we got here. Some more from Bloss 22. That was one of my bums. And then on top of that there, let's see, my bum is sending,
Never mind.
That's all right.
Goody.
It's called TMI. All right, never mind.
Goody.
What's up? What's up, Patty? Patty, what's up to you? Thank you for being part of the program as always. Bloss 22. How did none of my bums get mentioned? Oh, so there you go.
Life happens. Oh well, my goodness. Come up with one that's worth being mentioned.
When the comments come in that fast, they get missed.
That's it. You're exactly right. Thank you. And all right, let's get started with our segment here. We had a couple deaths this week. Ricky Henderson, a great baseball player, did a lot for baseball, and a Hall of Famer as well, or soon to be if he's not already. And Greg Gumbel. What a great announcer Greg Gumbel was, very thorough about what he did. We'll start with you, Scott. Your thoughts on both Ricky Henderson and Greg Gumbel.
Ricky Henderson missed 5 days before his 66th birthday, born on December 25th. A shame. Greatest base fielder of all time. Definitely going to be missed. What else is there going to say? He meant a lot to baseball. He could hit home runs. And he was just a type of guy that, he's one of the few teams that the Tigers he didn't play for. But anybody that knows anything about Ricky, his affection for Oakland, Billy Martin, the Yankees, it's just hard to believe that you lose so many of these. And yet you have 365 days. Let's wait a little bit to 2025 to lose a few. We're losing too many in 24. But what can you say about Ricky Henderson? 65, 5 days short of 66. And that's even still too young. As far as Greg Gumbel, the ultimate professional. Started with ESPN,
absolutely.
Did some great stuff with CBS. Just from what people have told me, he's a super nice guy. As for his brother Bryant, I've heard an arrogant side of him, but Greg, from what people have told me, he's a nice guy and a true class professional. You hate to see them both go. Greg battled cancer, and anytime you're dealing with cancer, it's tough. It really is. So rest in peace, Greg.
All right, let's talk. Jeremy, your thoughts. Greg Gumbel and Ricky Henderson.
Greg Gumbel was a pioneer in the whole announcing industry. His show Inside the NFL on HBO and Inside Sports, he did 2 shows a week. One he did just before the NFL week started. One he did after the weekend was over, when he covered everything on Tuesdays. I remember watching him growing up. I think a young adult, I should say, because HBO became bigger in the 90s, I think it was. So then you go on to Ricky Henderson, the greatest base stealer to ever walk the face of the earth, not named Lou Brock. Let's get it right here, because there were some good ones too, but Ricky Henderson was the first one that was more aloof than most of the batters that were divas in the major leagues. Always referred to himself in the third person in his interviews. Well, Ricky thinks we should do this. Remember those conversations, Scott, when he would do his interviews? Yeah. And he was a character. He had fun. And he played the game as hard as he could until he couldn't. And rest in peace to both of them. Class act.
2 heavy hitters this week, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Giants. We're talking Giants, man. Gumbel, Greg Gumbel, Ricky Henderson. I mean, and I used to love watching Ricky Henderson and Billy Martin together.
I used to like Ricky Henderson when he used to steal all those bases. I mean, he was one of the kings of doing that, and that was,
He broke Ty Cobb's record. That pained me, but if you're going to break a record, Ty Cobb's, at least let it be Ricky Henderson that did. Although I got to ask you guys a hypothetical. Can you imagine how many bases he would steal with the bigger base pads now in today's game? Makes you wonder a little bit, right?
In the time clock.
Huh?
In the time clock, the pitch clock.
That's
not only being able to throw over twice per batter.
I agree.
Ricky Henderson would probably have 120 stolen bases in a single season.
Oh, I'd say 120 stolen bases by August.
All right,
that good.
I want to welcome RxJ to the program here with his chat. Thank you, RxJ. Good morning to you. I hope you had a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you as well. As always, welcome to the program. Josh, let's see what he has going on here. It says, I'm covering the Panthers versus the Canadians today. All right, we'll see how that game goes. And then we got, let's see what we have here. It says, Henderson was a running back legend in high school. Okay, great. That's good to know.
For some reason, I believe that too. I don't know why I would believe that.
All right. And then let's see what we got here. Bloss 22 high bum. It's a plump.
All right.
All right. Then we got Josh says my bum just well, that's fine.
Well, you just have to learn to leave some comments off, Ralph. That's all.
Yeah.
And that one doesn't qualify for national exposure.
I got this dry eye problem today, and I'm having some issues.
Well, dry, wet eye, no eye. There's some things that just don't deserve to make it on a national network.
Comments about the old brown eye don't belong on TV.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, Leo, your thoughts on Ricky Henderson and Greg Gumbel?
Well, Greg Gumbel was a rock when it comes to an interview. You could always count on him being the voice of reason in any type of interview. He was completely stoic. He was the same all over. What people need to look at with Ricky Henderson is not how many bases he stole, but how many times they caught him stealing. That was a rarity. I mean, he was like 90% or higher with stolen bases. He just didn't throw them out. And guys, I got to throw one more person out there who just passed away a couple days ago. Bill Berge, linebacker for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Philadelphia Eagles. Rest in peace, all three.
There you go. As well, timing.
All right. Thank you for that, Leo. All right. Let's see. What do we got here from Josh? It says Darryl Strawberry still alive.
I believe he is.
Yes, he is. I believe he is. You're right. All right, Josh. Some comments stink. Yeah, you're right. You're exactly correct, Josh. All right.
Literally and figuratively, they stink.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. This next segment brought to you by. Oh no, I don't want to put that one up there. Hang on a minute. Let me get it. Okay, DraftNation.com. Get on DraftNation.com. Draft coverage for every draft. Also, they have podcasts and a whole bunch of information. If you're interested in their e-magazine, they'll put it in your inbox, $9.99 a month. Get on DraftNation.com. Check it out. Best draft information all around. All right, for every type of draft, hockey, basketball, and especially the NFL. So, all right. Okay. Now, let's talk about, let's get into our main topic today, and then we'll get into our final segment. Our main topic today is I want everybody to tell me every team in the NFL that has had a bust for a draft in the draft at quarterback at number one, or any kind of bust of a quarterback. Let's start with you, Leo.
Well, I'm going to go back because I'm comparing Caleb Williams to what's happening to him, to what the Washington Redskins did to Heath Schuler coming out of Tennessee. Fifth pick in the draft. And all he did was go into a Steve Spurrier offense that wanted to throw 5 receivers out in a pattern. Well, guess what? It didn't take long for the NFL to figure we're going to rush 6 because you can't block them. So this poor kid was literally ruined by getting hit time after time after time. Not just getting sacked, but he's getting hit every play. And I think that's what's going to happen to Caleb Williams. He's developing so many bad habits because they can't protect him that he may be another one that's a bust. But Heath Schuler, that's the biggest bust I can remember. Ryan Leaf, yeah, that's another one. But Heath Schuler was basically a bust because Steve Spurrier's offense couldn't protect him.
All right, Jeremy, you're a bust of a draft quarterback for the NFL.
It was Ryan Leaf. Everybody said he was going to be better than Peyton Manning. He was going to be better than Joe Montana. We heard everybody he was going to be better than. You know who he was better than? Nobody.
Nobody. Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. I like that. All right, Scott.
You know what? I'm going to go to Andre Ware. How about that? I'm going to Andre Ware. We're going to go to the run and shoot. Problem was he held out, and by the time he started playing, he was 9 million years behind. And where is he? He's not even good as a broadcaster. He's awful. I met him many years ago in San Francisco. Andre Ware was supposed to be a great fit for Wayne Fonson run and shoot. Instead, he's in the broadcast booth. There's a guy back, of course, now with the rookie wage scale, quarterbacks can't hold out anymore. But here's a guy that they should have had it then. Andre Ware should have had a rookie wage scale, and he should have showed up because of all the reps that he ended up missing. So Andre Ware easily for the Detroit Lions is a guy that I would definitely go out there and tell you. And I'll tell you another thing. I'll go as far as saying I don't think Joey Harrington was a bust. And I'll tell you why I don't think he was. Because he had poor coaching and instability there. I think Joey Harrington with the right situation would have panned out. Andre Ware, if you want a quarterback bust, he's the guy I'm going to give it to.
All right, Patty says Jamarcus Russell, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a bullseye.
Oh, big time. And then Chuck Long was a bust. So, there we are with that.
You know what, though? I'm not sure about that one yet either. Well, hold on, Jeremy. I would lean more that he might be sort of a bust, but again, the Lions coaches for a period of time were awful. They were. So I don't want to go all the way on Chuck Long. I may go part of the way, but not all the way. Andre Ware more so. Again, you're talking about the Lions for many years had indigent coaches is what you have. When you have an indigent coach as an offensive coordinator as well as a head coach, that's a recipe for disaster.
All right, James says here RG3. Yeah, RG3 was
no doubt about that.
Due to injury, yes. Due to his play, no. But once that major injury happened, he was never the same. Johnny Manziel, we all knew he'd be a bust.
Right.
Here's a blast from the past. A guy that was old and drafted in the first round, Brandon Weeden.
Oh wow. There's some research there. I agree. That's research.
All right, guys. All right, my quarterbacks are, and they both played for the Steelers as backups and started a little bit here and there. Tommy Maddox, he was kind of a bust. He was a first-round pick, didn't do well in Denver, and then he ended up with a couple different teams. Played for the Steelers as a starter a little bit, and then became a backup. Charlie Batch is another one who was a bust for Detroit. Detroit's had a lot of busts there, Jeremy. It seems like.
But Charlie Batch was picked in like the third or fourth round.
Yeah, but by Bobby Ross, by the way, who actually believed in him.
Right.
Right. Well, yeah, and then Charlie Batch, and then also
your busts are your first round pick. Which, let's face it, NFL history, quarterbacks bust at a 68% rate in the first round. Odds are most of them will bust.
I agree. Boy, you nailed that one. You really do. I've said this before, and I'll say this to you now. I don't believe, in my opinion, that you're going to get a franchise quarterback necessarily in the first round. Go rounds 2 through 7 or 8, whatever, and you're going to get your franchise quarterback. You don't need to go in the first round to get it. That's what so many people have it all messed up. Tell me Joe Montana in the 3rd round. Give me a break. Tom Brady, we all know about that one. How many of them really pan out in the first round, depending on the situation? I'm praying, and I don't pray much, okay? But I'll be watching this guy in a few hours that Cam Ward ends up in the right situation so he doesn't enter into that conversation because this guy's a great quarterback.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's got to be, and Jeremy, you're going to chime in the same thing. It's got to be the right situation, right, Jeremy?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
number one, the reason why most first-round quarterbacks fail is their pick numbers 1 through 10.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
how do you expect to succeed with a bad team that doesn't know where the hell they're going anyway? Get real. How can the New York Jets year in and year out screw it up? Don't tell me Sam Darnold was bad. Now you're seeing they have a coach that believes in the guy, right? Hold on, Ralph. Let me finish. Ralph, let me finish, okay? Go out there with your red eye or whatever. Let me finish, okay? And I'm the boss in this segment, okay? How the hell did Sam Darnold turn bad overnight? Oh, my God. Give me a damn coach that'll work with him and believe in him. You know, get real. How many former Jets quarterbacks are going to do well elsewhere? And they get a quarterback every other year. They really do. But they go elsewhere and they're all right.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
The bottom line is, guys, if you're a quarterback, the two places you do not want to go is the New York Giants and the New York Jets.
No doubt.
You are going to get crucified by the media, no matter what. And look at Sam Darnold. He couldn't handle that, and I knew that. Here's a surfer boy coming out of California, and he's going there. I said, no, that's not going to work. Guy coming out of Brigham Young, Wilson, he's going to do it. No, that's not going to work. And my son Sean's hit the nail on the head. You don't draft a quarterback, you buy a quarterback. Let him prove himself, then go and just raid the other team and get somebody that'll last 5, 6, 7, 8 years with your franchise.
Well, most of these quarterbacks aren't even going to see their second contract anyways, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree. The problem isn't drafting a quarterback. The problem is starting them year one.
Right.
They don't develop anybody.
Right.
Look at the ones in the first round that's been developed. Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years behind Brett Favre, came out, had a bad rookie year, but what did he do every year after that? Either won the division or won the MVP, right? But somebody else sits behind him for 3 years.
Mahomes sat for half.
I'm getting there. I was already talking the next one. 3 more years. Jordan Love takes the Packers twice 2 years in a row to the playoffs. Then you got Patrick Mahomes sits 1 year behind Alex Smith, and Andy Reid is a great guy and a great quarterbacks coach, but you have to give some credit. And I don't want to hear anymore about a system quarterback, a team quarterback, a game manager quarterback. The quarterback does what he's coached to do for that team.
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah.
When I hear this game manager or a system quarterback, blah, 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 you do what you're coached to do. So a quarterback wins and loses with the team and wins and loses with how they're coached.
Well, the bottom line is, to me, system quarterback, okay, is the football version of an expletive. It's game manager. So what? Object of the game is throw the ball so somebody else can catch it. Period. Okay? That's what you're supposed to do. Play pitch and catch. That's what you have to do. Okay? And a lot of them do what they have to do. I mean, Rex Ryan, okay, trying to make a lot out of Mark Sanchez. Well, at least he got him to an AFC championship game. And I won't say Mark Sanchez is one of the most talented guys, but you're able to get the best out of players. Don't tell me that Trent Dilfer's a Hall of Famer, but you know what? If you're in the right situation with the right coaching staff, you can make a lot out of nothing and hope they have a good enough defense to go out there and hold the opposition so these average quarterbacks become a little better than average. And some of them actually turn out to be MVPs in the Super Bowl. Well, you're right. Game manager, system quarterback, I'm not buying it. And please don't ruin Cam Ward. Keep him out of New York. Keep him out of Vegas unless you have a decent coach there. Antonio Pierce didn't coach this guy. Although maybe if we're lucky, one of the Sanders guys will get drafted over there so they can wreck him that way. Shedeur Sanders, I think that's what they want him to do anyways, right? Go figure.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what, though, Scott? Cam Ward could pull John Elway and say, I don't want to go there.
No, you really can't in this day and age, because where are you going to go? The Canadian League, where they pay pennies on the dollar? No, you really can't. And you
Oh,
don't
I
have
know.
Ralph. You don't listen, man. You don't have that much leverage like you have with John Elway
Well,
in this day and age. You just simply don't do it. But I have a feeling that Cam Ward will be fine. I really do. I just hope he doesn't end up like Leo says in either of the New York places. And if you do end up in New York, you better hope and pray you got a coach that's worth anything.
you know what, Scott, though? They have a little bit of leverage now because they can go back to college and make millions. So that's a little bit of leverage. Again, if you've run out eligibility, you have none. But these
Why?
guys,
Can you see Cam Ward back in Miami another year? Really? They'd salivate if it happened.
I don't think he can. I think he's
Right.
got eligibility. But that is a little bit of leverage. I mean, look at Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark said she took a hell of a salary hit coming to the WNBA. She could have made millions going back to Iowa.
Yeah, but Cam Ward doesn't have that luck here. You know, wherever he goes, he ends up. They're not going to pay him pennies on the dollar in Canada to go there. You only have 9 places you're going to go, and you're going to freeze your tickets off when you go up there anyways.
I'll tell you, it says Jared Goff C2. There you go.
Yeah, he sat for half a year.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely. How about Mitch Trubisky? There was a guy who, he was the #1 pick for the Bears.
Yeah, but do you really let me ask you a question, Jeremy. And I want this right with you, Jeremy. Do you consider Mitch Trubisky a bust?
No, because his first 3 seasons, he had 2 years. He took Chicago to the playoffs.
Exactly. That's my point. So then my follow-up question is, why wasn't he a bust? Because he had decent coaching?
No, because he had natural talent despite his coaching.
Well, there you go. I set you up for that. You know that, right? I knew exactly where you're going.
Because the Chicago Bears haven't had QB coaching since they were created.
Right, but the bottom line is Caleb Williams putting up pretty good numbers for the Bears, despite the fact he's putting up record numbers for this franchise anyway, despite what he doesn't have.
But yet, at the same time, they punted so many times he now can't catch the punter in passing yards. The punter will have surpassed him, which makes that text he sent on draft day to the punter they drafted even more hilarious.
Yeah.
Remember, he says, yeah, congratulations on being drafted to the team, but we're not going to need you much.
Yeah, the bottom line is what Caleb Williams is going to want, what he's going to need for Christmas or New Year's. He needs to find himself a good Oriental massage parlor that's going to be able to get his body up and running again. If you know anything about Oriental women and massages, I go back to my college days at USF. I dated a girl from Japan, and boy, she had some good back rub. My wife does a good job these days, too. That might be TMI. But the reality of the situation is Caleb Williams going to need an awful lot of massages to get to massage what the heck he had to deal with in the Windy City this year.
All right. Later on this afternoon, don't forget to tune into the Sports Corner radio show, 12:50 a.m., 92.5 The Answer, with me, Ralph Williams. Claudia Razzano, Luther Dupree. Smoking Jim is under the weather and will not be part of the show this afternoon. So I want to send my prayers out to Smoking Jim Frazier as well. It was nice because a few weeks back, it was nice to have both Smoking Jeremy and Smoking Jim on the same show. So it was a really good show we had on the Sports Corner show on Tuesdays. And RW Media Productions, other than the external bum here and the radio shows, return on January 5 for the post-game show after the Steelers-Cincinnati game. And that week coming up at the beginning of the year. And also January 4, I have on the Ralph Williams show, Pittsburgh City Councilman Anthony Coghill, and we're going to talk about public safety, the police chief, and a whole bunch of city budgeting issues. We have a lot to talk about. The Ralph Williams show is part of the triple header of Ralph every Saturday morning, starting at 8 a.m. with the Ralph Williams show, and then later on here with the External Bum show at 9 o'clock, and then at 2 o'clock, don't forget about the Sports Corner radio show as well. Also,
yeah, Leo can only imagine what it would have been like when I was at USF back in the 80s, right, my brother?
Oh, God. I tell you what, we came down here when I was coaching at Newberry. We came down, and Chip Connor was the coach at USF at the time, who we had met up at Notre Dame's basketball camp. And the week we came down was the week he got fired. It was crazy. But yeah.
I had a lot of interesting times when I was working at the Tampa Tribune, all the coaches I met back in the 80s. It was an unbelievable time being a student at USF.
All right, guys. This next segment brought to you by DJ Fun as part of the RW Media Production umbrella. DJ Fun, 15 years of experience in DJ work. Call 412-545-4317 or Ralph Williams 737 @gmail.com. You need a great DJ for a party or special event, give them a call today. That number 412-545-4317 or Ralph Williams 737 @gmail.com for all your comments. If you don't choose to come on the comment section here, you can also do that as well. And we have a bunch of comments here. Let me get those out here going. Let me see where we are here. All right, let's start with this one here, I guess. Let's see what we got. It says Zamboni is in the rain, and they're not in the rain. They're in the Panthers game. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see here. They play hockey. They don't play blank. All right, there we go. And then we got this one from Josh. Well, all right. We'll cancel blanks out there. All right, RXJ said we will see if the Bears, and here we are there. Jeremy, you can read that. Can you read that for me, please? Because I'm having.
We will see if the Bears end up trading for Kyle Shanahan in the offseason. I don't think they're going to make that trade. It doesn't make any sense for them. I think what makes more sense is to actually sell the team. I wasn't joking. They need to sell the team. Virginia McCaskey and Davis Warren, the president of football operations, have proven they can't pick a coach to save their franchise, to save their proverbial behind.
Right.
Hey, I tell you what, I got a coach for you, but he just got a job as an offensive analyst and chief janitor in Washington Huskies. Eric Bieniemy. There you go.
You know what, Jim?
You know what? I wouldn't be laughing at that. I think Eric Bieniemy is a pretty good coach and deserves another head job somewhere. I really do. Deserves a head job somewhere. I wouldn't be laughing at that.
So my brother said the same thing,
Leo.
Jeremy, that the only thing that's going to save the Bears is for the McCaskies to either sell the franchise or for Virginia to pass away, God forbid. But he said it's beyond repair. It's literally beyond repair. They're in trouble.
Hey, Blows, you wouldn't know what a TMI stood for if I told you to 10 million times backwards, sideways, and frontwards.
I mean, these guys talk about stuff coming out their bum the whole show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know. Speaking
that's
not
of coaches that I've
job.
met that I like, and he was one of the main reasons why I got to tour Schembechler Hall when he was an offensive analyst and wide receivers coach. It was TJ Weiss. He was an offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach for the University of South Florida back in 2016. When he came to Michigan, I was actually good friends and shot pool on the same billiards team in league as his brother. So he said, hey, I got a big Michigan fan that's a friend of mine. He goes, oh, well, why don't I just give you all tickets and then you guys get to come down in the tunnel after the game and go to Schembechler Hall on a tour. So I've got pictures all through it. I got to meet him. I got to go into Jim Harbaugh's office and meet Jim at the end of the whole thing. I got to see both of the indoor practice fields that they have. And yes, they are complete football fields in that facility. I got to go to the cafeteria. We had dinner. We got to see the state-of-the-art weight building room that Jim Harbaugh had put in for the players. They have a better gym than some of the top of the line ones that you pay to get memberships to. So when I hear about people saying all the players should get paid, if you look at all the amenities that those players get in those halls for these athletic programs, and I'm not talking about your mid-level schools. I'm talking about your Power 5 schools. Those facilities and the places they stay while they're attending school, if you had to pay for all that, do you realize how much they'd be spending per month alone just for the amenities and the food they're getting?
Well, let me tell you this, though, Jeremy. For many years, the Miami Hurricanes didn't even have an indoor facility until Mark Richt went out there and started to talk about it and started raising money for it. The Canes had to play outdoors in that humidity for many years until they finally got an indoor facility. And I work in that indoor facility now for pro days as well as, spring games and whatnot, interview things. So the Canes have done a pretty good job down in Coral Gables to at least have a respectable facility. But how would you like to train in these these tropical temperatures during the summertime.
I'm talking about the ones that have had facilities for years.
I know, but
places that had them for decades.
Yeah, but you're missing my point.
I'm not. You're missing mine. I said these players that have those facilities and the amount of money they would have to pay to stay at them. If you think about it, they would be paying so much more than just their scholarship. The scholarship alone, if you are an out-of-state student and you get a full ride scholarship to a school, which is 3 times as expensive if you're an in-state student at any state. So if it's 30 to 50,000 and you live in state, then when you come from out of state, you're paying 100 to 150,000 per year. So there's 600,000 right there, not including the dorm they're given for free, the food they're given for free, the tutoring they're given for free, the workout facility they're given for free. I'm talking about all the amenities they get. They are still getting like a $200,000 per year, each one.
Yeah, players don't see it that way. Hold it.
I know players don't see that way, but that's an expense they'd have to pay if they're getting paid, because that's where it changes.
Well, I don't know, really. Well, wait, is it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, 100%. If you're getting paid, then you shouldn't get a scholarship. You shouldn't get any free rides.
Well, then you know what? I think you should be the president of the NCAA then. I think you should. I think you should. You got all the goddamn answers about what it used to be. It ain't the case, bro. For many, many years it hasn't. Yeah, of course. Wait, let me finish, okay? You had your thing. Now I got mine, okay? I understand that you should pay this, you should pay that, you should pay that, but there's perception and there's reality. The bottom line is this is a system of entitlement, okay? That's how it's always been. And obviously you have the haves and the have-nots, okay? I get that. But the bottom line is, yeah, I also paid out-of-state fees many years before I ended up qualifying for in-state fees in Florida too. And at that time, USF didn't even have a football team. Our homecoming was basketball. So I get your point that they should go out there and say they should be paying. The bottom line is, if we don't have these facilities, we're not going to go anyways. We're going to go the best way where we could get trained, okay, so that we could go to the next level. I've dealt with enough coaches where they have to sell their facilities. For many years, you take it to college basketball. How the hell did Michigan State sell Jennison Fieldhouse, okay, till they got the Breslin Center? Guess what? Magic Johnson came out of Breslin, out of Jennison Fieldhouse. So I know where you're coming from with the football guys, that if you're out of state and all that, but the bottom line is a player generally takes a visit. If they like where they're going to go, fine. I've dealt with a poor FAU baseball stadium, which is garbage, okay? And how the hell they win there is anybody's goddamn guess. It really is, but they do. I know where you're coming from. I get it. I'm not saying you're totally wrong. The bottom line is that what players' minds think and what they are deliver is another story. Miami Jet finally got a facility, and look what you had coming out here. But they had 5 national championships before they had this goddamn facility.
But at the same time, you're talking about apples to oranges, NFL and NCAA. I'm saying if you're going to make every player in the NCAA pay, then they have to pay for everything they get to. That's where I'm at. Because guess what? The only thing that you're required to get if you are an employee is a uniform and the equipment to do the job, correct?
Yes, right. Exactly.
Yeah, but you're asking this. You know what you're doing?
No,
you're asking Josh. Let me finish. You're asking Josh Trudor to say something intelligent sports-wise. He ain't going to tell it. He isn't. Right? I'm just kidding with the guy. No, I'm kidding with you, Jeremy. After all, 'tis the season to be kidding and having funny, right? Okay, I know. This is all about entitlement. They should pay. There's no question about they should pay.
I didn't say they shouldn't pay, but at the same time, if they're getting paid to play that goddamn sport like a professional athlete, when they become a professional athlete, their scholarship is revoked. If they want to finish their scholarship and they came out early, what do they have to do? Pay out of fucking pocket. So if you're getting paid to play the sport while you're in college, you don't get a scholarship. You pay to pay for it.
Good luck.
You pay for it.
That's
what it should be. And 100%. Because if I can't afford to go to fucking college, unless I make that kind of money, guess what? Then they should pay for it.
Good luck. But you know the key word that you said in that exchange, Jeremy? Keep drinking that Mountain Dew, brother, huh?
Should.
There you go. Bingo, you got that one right. Should. Spell that one frontward, sideways, and backwards. Should, but it ain't happening. Welcome to 2025, brother.
All right, here in Pittsburgh, here at some of the universities, I think just about all of them, they have a contract with the bus company, and they get a free bus pass. So you can use your student ID, get on the bus. That's part of an incentive. And they also, Robert Morris gives credit cards because when I used to work at a Steak and Shake, they used to come in. It was nearby Robert Morris University, and they would have their own credit cards, and they could go buy groceries and stuff, and they put it. But that's part of their tuition as well. There are some incentives of some things. All right, let's get in our last segment, and that's the local segment. We go around the panel here and see what's going on locally in their area in sports. But first, we have to pay some bills. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios here at 808 Studios in the Allentown section of the city of Pittsburgh, 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. All right. This segment's brought to you by the Steel City Yellow Jackets, our ABA basketball team. They happen to play up here in Allentown on Climax Street at the Community Center. Check out their website, steelcityyellowjackets.com. All right. Let's get into our local segment. Leo, we'll start with you, local.
Well, let's start with today. We've got USF basketball. The men's are playing Weber International. That's today. They're going to play then again, open up the season with Charlotte, the AAC season. And that's going to be on New Year's Eve at 3 o'clock. A little bit of conflict that with what else is going on. That's the ReliaQuest Bowl with Michigan and Alabama. We also have hockey tonight and tomorrow. The Rangers in town today and the Canadians tomorrow. Women's basketball, they're going to get back at it on New Year's Day. They're going to play their second conference game. They go on the road first. And the Bucks, they're going to host tomorrow the Carolina Panthers. They're in a dogfight, as Ralph would say, for the NFC South with Atlanta right now. If Atlanta wins out and the Bucks wins out, Atlanta wins because they hold the hammer, winning 2 in a row. So, but that's what's going on here in the Bay Area, guys.
All right, Scott Morganroth, you want to talk about the Red Wings? Go ahead.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate USF Bulls for going to Hawaii and winning their bowl game out there, 4,600 miles to win, thanks to Craig Angelos out there. Was it 5 overtimes to come away with the win? And now they're, 7-6? I don't know. Of course, they had, 6 overtimes in Detroit. And you know what, Jeremy? I love getting in spirited conversations with you. That's what keeps me going at the age of 62, brother. As far as the Red Wings, they made their worst move their most obvious move became a reality, getting rid of Derek Malone. I don't know why he was hired in the first place. Hallelujah, I guess, going into the new year. I don't know if Tom McClellan's a miracle worker that they need, but he's an upgrade. He's won a lot of hockey games, won a cup with Mike Babcock. Was Joel Quenneville out there? I'm sure Steve Eiserman probably talked to him and came to the conclusion that McClellan was the right hiring. That's why I went out there and wore this Red Wing shirt, because Joshua Dorr reminded me a little bit of Ray Charles. He was blind. He didn't see it and didn't bother to mention it. All he's too busy worried about whether Tarasenko is going to get traded back to the Panthers. So as far as I'm concerned, I wish Tom McClellan well. I hope it's not too late. And again, you can go out there and make up a lot of ground with a decent hot streak. Concentrate on winning a couple of games to give Tom McClellan an opportunity to go out there and get this situation right. I'm looking forward to the game with Cam Ward later on, right down the road here at Camping World Stadium. Iowa State against Miami. It should be a really, really good game against two teams that probably could have made a case for getting in the college football playoff. I'm looking forward to seeing Cam Ward. And again, congratulations to the USF Bulls. And Jeremy, like I said, nothing makes my day the day before my 62nd birthday than to have a very spirited conversation that makes me feel really young going against my pupil.
All right. Thank you for that, Scott. And Lost 22 says, great show. Thank you so much for that as well. And I also want to thank everyone here in the chat room today who's made their comments. We have several of them, and I want to thank everyone for watching, that is watching on all the networks that we're on today as well. All right, Jeremy, go ahead with your local.
My local is, well, let's see. The Tigers made a move. They hired another guy that has a mediocre bat and a horrible glove to play second base. Move Kolke to first base. and say, we'll figure it out with Torkelson. Still haven't signed Tariq Skubal to a lengthy contract, nor have they finished their deal to get Alex Brigman in Detroit. What the hell are you doing, Chris Ilitch? Open up the checkbook and get some things fucking done for Scott Harris. And the Lions head to San Francisco to try and make it 14-2 because this is a revenge game that Dan Campbell had circled. And if you don't think these guys are going to be playing harder than they did versus the Packers, you're confused. Look what we did to the Dallas Cowboys as a revenge game.
Bullseye, Jeremy, on both of those, pal. That's a bullseye. Twice.
All right, good for you, Joe. Coffee time. Starbucks is on strike, so I hope you're making some Maxwell House or something, or Folgers or whatever. So.
Do you drink coffee, Ralph?
No, I do not.
Well, that shows you how much you know about it.
Yeah, I do not. I do not drink coffee. My mom drinks a lot of coffee, but I don't.
I woke up too late to make a cup of coffee. So
yeah, that's right, Jeremy. Hey, raise it up there, Jeremy. Not a regulated show. Raise it there. There we go.
Yeah, but guess what's coming next? That's getting filled with coffee.
Is your diet? Yours is a diet, though. Yours is a regular.
No,
stuff, right?
mine is the leaded.
Yeah, okay. Well, mine's unleaded.
You
but
drink
that's
unleaded. I drink leaded.
And either way, we're still wild. Go figure.
Okay, guys. My local Pittsburgh Penguins play tonight against the New York Islanders up in Long Island. The Penguins have been another roller coaster season, but the roller coaster has been pretty decent. They're winning one game, losing one game. They're not winning one game, losing 10 like they have in the past. And it seems like the Penguins are at the 500 level, which is better than being last or whatever. Pitt basketball, they play California at the Pete on Wednesday, January 1st, New Year's Day, a very special New Year's Day game as well. And I want to send some kudos out to the Pitt women's volleyball team who made an attempt to try to win the national championship, and they came up short. But they had a great season. In Penn State, I want to say congrats to their women's volleyball team for their national championship win as well. So, that's my local here. And the Steelers on January 5 will be playing the Cincinnati Bengals at Acrisure Stadium. Steelers need to win this game because if they don't, they're going to be in big, deep trouble in the playoffs. If they win this game, they play Houston in the playoffs to start off with. I'd rather them play in Houston than play Buffalo or somebody else. That's a little, or the Ravens again. So, I would rather them play Houston. Houston's not looking too good right now. They got blown up by the Ravens last week. So, all right, guys, let's go with our final segment here, our closing segment. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. We'll start with you, Scott.
All right. Well, obviously, YouTube channel, South Florida Tribune. YouTube, you haven't subscribed, please do so. We have a lot of great shows. We'll be back on the air, not next week, but the week after. But I've been putting up a lot of archives on my social media, so you can see them out there. Obviously, Ralph talked about the book, Lessons from the Microphone. They're putting a lot of archives, a lot of good shows I'd like to get out there again during the downtime, because some of the topics that we talked about, obviously, are making a lot of sense. I think Jeremy leaned on one of them today, and I can tell good stuff there about the Bregman mentioned for him as well. But you can find us on Twitter/X at Tribune South. His number, that's Candy Ebling does a good job. www.southfloridatribune.com. About the book and the YouTube channel. It's been great working with you guys all year, and looking forward to having some pretty good stuff going on in 25.
All right, Jeremy.
Well, as you all know, I do write for the South Florida Tribune. You can find me underneath the contributors writing under the Motor City Tribune heading, where you will see my name there. You can also find me on the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel, where I do the Fire Up Show, and occasionally on Inside the Pigskin and anywhere else Scott needs me, as well as the Motor City Mad Mouth Show, usually on Wednesdays. Then you can also find me on my channel, which is Kneecap Fighting with the Motor City Lions, where I go live daily. And when I'm a guest on someone else's show, I live stream it to my channel because it gets pretty lively.
Hey, by the way, I should point out too, Ralph, Jeremy, and Leo, that on my birthday tomorrow, December 29th, I will have marked my 45th anniversary in sports media. So my 45th anniversary in the business will be tomorrow on my birthday, 62. I began with George Eichhorn at WXYZ Radio, ABC in Detroit.
All right, Leo, your How can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, just check us out on Amped Up Sports, www.ampedupsports.com. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're all over the place. And put up a daily post. Today I'm going to be with my Leo's Losers college football. Not a lot to pick from, but I found 3 of them.
All right. Also, I will be joining Amped Up Sports here. I'm still part of them. I post stuff on their Facebook page, but I'll be more involved coming the beginning of the year. So I'll be a little more involved with Amped Up Sports as well. All right. You can reach me I have my own YouTube channel, Ralph Williams, RW Media. Please subscribe. I need 8 more subscribers to make my 200. Also, please follow me on Twitter X, on my Twitter X platform. Also, I'm on Blue Sky, and I'm also on Tumblr and LinkedIn as well. So you can follow me all across the board and Facebook as usual.
Oh,
And also, don't forget to check out my radio shows, the Ralph Williams Show on Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., and 2 to 3 p.m., the Sports Corner radio show. Yeah, Jeremy.
Paul asked a legit sports question. What about the Pistons? No Christmas Day. The Pistons aren't entitled to Christmas Day, and once they start putting a better product on the court on a more regular basis, they will probably get the benefits of being back on Christmas Day.
Well, let me go ahead and add to that. I'm glad you brought that up. Many years ago, I saw the Pistons play on Christmas Day at the Orlando Arena, where I am in Orlando now, and had a chance to have lunch with Brent Musburger. And the Pistons back, I've seen some of their Christmas Day games, and they were pretty good. And yeah, you're right. You only get on Christmas Day if you're entitled to, but the way the NFL blowing them out of water between the NBA and the NFL.
There might not be an NBA on Christmas Day.
Exactly.
Anymore.
But I remember Christmas Day. I covered some Christmas Day games when the Pistons were on, and here I am. It's funny how he mentions that. Ironically, in an area that I happen to be in today, covering a game right down the road from the old arena that was demolished.
All right. Also, you can catch me on Wednesdays on the Kneecap Fighting Network. We do an NFL roundtable. Also, I'm on with Peter Blake some Wednesdays at 10:30 down in the on the sports web, and I do Turnbuckle Talk with Peter Blake as well. You can catch me there, and sometimes I'm on Robert Butler's network, the Sports Scope. I'm invited as a guest. I also work with Keith Engel in the TGI Sports Network. So I'm all across the country. Check me out on some of the other websites and shows as well. I want to thank Scott Morganroth, Jeremy Ballrich, and Leo Haggerty. Until next week, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. And we'll see you next year right here, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. every single Saturday, part of the triple header of Ralph. And we're here all the time. There's our banner right there. And we're also part of the Huddle Sports Network, the Kneecap Biting Network, and we're also part of the South Florida Tribune as well. Simulcasted on all those networks. Everyone have yourself a great new year, and we'll see you next year. And thank you again.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You didn't even wait for the outro this time.
Yeah, well, I'm getting there, Jeremy.
No, I know.